Hello and welcome to the Matt's Movie Reviews podcast. I am your host, Matthew Pejkovic, and this is episode number 672. Available on video on demand is Hold the Fort, a horror comedy that focuses on a young couple who move to the suburbs only to find themselves trapped in an epic battle between their homeowners association and an onslaught of monsters from hell. A bloody and funny splatterfest of indie film ingenuity, snappy one-liners, and a love for creature feature filmmaking. Hold the Fort also marks the latest film from director and writer William Bagley, who joins me now on the podcast. William, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I am doing really well. Thank you so much for being here. We got to talk all things Hold the Fort right now. I've been doing a bunch of research into the film and kind of like the making of it and such. There's something I need to confirm though, like in the origins of the movie. So you have your first film, The Murder Podcast, comes out like 2021, 2022. You create like a fictional film for this movie. It's like a green screen, campy green screen thing. It has the now infamous line, which is uttered in Hold the Fort, magic can't stop bullets. And you make that so you can have like for like a background shot or what have you. How does that little fictional thing that you made for Murder Podcast become the kind of the origins, that seed that sprouted into Hold the Fort? I'm really curious about that process.
Well, I love that you looked it up, one, because that's awesome. But yeah, so basically, you're exactly right. My first feature film, The Murder Podcast, has this scene where the main character is watching a movie on TV. And it was just supposed to be something silly that's supposed to foreshadow the main villain of that movie. So the producers and I, on green screen, just shot this. I wrote this very cheesy, purposely silly, campy little thing where the main guy shoots a witch and is like, magic can't stop bullets.
Hmm.
And my friend Scott Hawkins, who actually played the witch in the Murder Podcast, kept saying he was like, "I want to see that movie. We should make that like really crappy green screen movie." And I was like, "Okay, I mean, hey, if you write an idea, like if you come with an idea, like I'll write a script and then we could just shoot something, like just us on a green screen, it'd be fun." And so he came back to me with this idea of an HOA fighting off an annual monster invasion, and he had like a list of characters. So it's just like one sheet, and I took it and I was like, "This is really funny. There's something here." And I wrote this script, and it was like 60 pages. And I sent it back to him, and he was like, "Man, you wrote this too good. We like have to make a real movie now." And
Hmm.
so from there, I took it, fleshed it out a little bit, got it up to like 93 pages, and then it just became this. We're making an actual movie now. We're not doing anything on green screen, like because originally the whole thing was just supposed to be kind of like a Kung Fury, green screen everything sort of thing. And originally, like instead of kamikaze bats at the end, there were ninjas with pink ray guns. But I liked the pink bullets, so I kept the kamikaze bats exploding pink. But basically, it just developed off of him being like, "I just want to see that movie." And so, what was so fun, and I think something that comes through in the script itself and the movie is, I wrote it to just be a fun, silly project. And a lot of those jokes that are in that first 60-page draft are still in the final movie. Um, but then it was really cool to get super talented actors in there and to get actual stuntmen and, an actual special effects team, to build real creatures and stuff, and to see this very silly idea come to life in a way bigger way. And then it turned into the biggest movie I've ever made. So
The Murder Podcast was your first film, and then you're going over to Hold the Fort. What kind of lessons, what kind of things do you learn from that first movie, the experience of the first movie, do you bring over to Hold the Fort? Because Hold the Fort, like it does have all these kind of elements, the practical effects and all that stuff, so you're leveling up in a sort of way. So how do you go about kind of approaching this material in this movie compared to the first one?
I think, I mean, so I learned a ton with every single project I make, from the short films. Like I learned so much from Hold the Fort, so I can't wait to make another thing because I want to put all that stuff into practice.
Yep.
There's a ton I learned with the Murder Podcast, but probably the thing that comes to mind most is with that movie. That was my first feature film, and so while we're shooting it, I was very confident on set, but in the back of my head the whole time I'm going, is this really going to work? Is this going to cut together? Is this going to make sense? Is it going to be funny? And then when I was in the editing room, I was putting it all together, and I was like, oh, this is actually working. Like, oh, we did it. We shot the right coverage. We did whatever. Like, so when it came to Hold the Fort, I was just way more confident in myself, which I think led to us making, more exciting choices and committing to stuff on the day and being like this is the one way we're going to shoot this, we're going to do it like this, and that's it. So I think there's just a confidence that came with that, for being like, it worked. Like I can trust my own creative abilities a little bit more, and that's huge. And then also, just having made that movie, other people were able to feel confident in me as well. So like they were like, oh, I know you can deliver a decent movie, so we're willing to like go above and beyond for this one because we know you're going to finish it at least.
Murder Podcast had Chris Mayers and Levi Burdick, who are also in Hold the Fort as well. Another cast member you have in this movie who you haven't worked with before, Julian Smith. And for people out there who don't remember, like 10 years ago, Julian Smith was kind of like a really big YouTube star, and he stopped doing that. He's been doing little things here and there, some cinematography, some shorts, other stuff as well, but nothing really of high, kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like high level kind of stuff, like just sort of short things here and there. How do you convince him to kind of get in front of the camera for yourself? Where's the connection there? How do you kind of get him to play the role of Jerry here?
So Alex Allgood is the director of photography on Hold the Fort, but he's shot the Murder Podcast, and he shot all my short films. Like the two of us have just been working together for forever. I love that dude to death. He's super talented. But when he was in LA like 15 years ago, he used to gaff on Julian Smith's short like YouTube videos. So when we met, he told me that, and I was a big Julian Smith fan. Like I used to love his work, still do. But he told me that, and I was like, oh my gosh, Julian Smith? That's crazy. And then I kind of never thought anything else of it until we were in the casting process for Hold the Fort. And Julian randomly posted a video for the first time in like 6 years or whatever. And I was watching it, and I was like, you know what? I think he could actually be a really good Jerry. Like, I think he could do the HOA president. So I called Alex and was like, hey, man, do you have contact info for Julian Smith still? Like, can I, send him an email or something? And Alex was like, well, the only thing I have is this old phone number. He's like, I don't know if it works, but you can give it a call if you want. And so I cold called it and left a voicemail. It was just like, hey, Julian, this is William Bagley. I know Alex Allgood. I'm making a movie. I would love to send you the script. I think you'd be great in it. And somehow he actually called back. Like he texted me back. I was like, hey, I don't normally respond to stuff like this, but Alex is a good friend. Send me your script. So I sent him the script and a link to the Murder Podcast. He watched it. He read it. He loved it. And then he was like, I'm in. Let's do it. And then Julian was an incredible collaborator, and he's been awesome. He actually helped with some of the visual effects too in the movie. He came on board as a producer as well. So it's just been super fun to work with him. He's a cool dude, and he did such a great job. Like, cause he's not an actor. He would tell you that. He's like, I'm not an actor. But he did such a good job, like playing right with the other actors who that's their profession. So it was really fun. And I think he had a blast, and I think the audience loves him. I think Jerry is a favorite among most.
He is. I think he's a type of character as well that can be really used, maybe in potential kind of series. Who knows where things are going to go? Don't want to give away any spoilers or anything for the end of the movie, but I think there's a potential kind of franchise capabilities in regards to that
Oh,
character,
heck yeah.
especially.
And if people want it, I'm in.
Well, please do. The Matt's Movie Reviews podcast is brought to you by TeePublic. TeePublic is the world's largest marketplace for independent creators to sell their work on the highest quality merchandise. With over 1.2 million designs, TeePublic is sure to have something you love. Outside of like your cast, you have kind of like a carousel of different monsters and stuff to show up in the movie. You have your traditional ones, of course, the werewolf and the witch and such. You mentioned before kamikaze bats. You have what is it? Kung fu kind of what was it again?
The Kung Fu spirits or Kung
Kung
Fu
Fu
zombies
spirits as well,
on-
which I thought was just really kind of clever as well watching the film. When you start off with a script like this and you think about different ideas and such, how much of it do you think to yourself we need kind of like traditional kind of like monsters to show up here, and how much is it as well as like I want to mess around with this a bit and do something a little different and kind of and bring that kind of to the fore as well?
I mean, I think anytime you can do something different, that's way more exciting. I think traditional is good. And traditional is great because everybody understands it. But when there's something new and exciting and fun, I think that's even cooler. For this movie, the werewolf and the witches were in there right away,
Right.
as well as the stick man at the very end. But honestly, the Kung Fu spirits came about mainly because of budgetary restrictions. I was like, I want to do another cool creature or something. I was like, but we don't have any money. So what's something we could do for cheap? I'm like, okay, possession is always cheap, like
Yeah.
because it's just the actor. And then I'm like, well, possession's kind of boring. We did that in the murder podcast. Oh, but what if they're possessed by spirits that know kung fu? So then now they know kung fu, and I'm like, that's kind of cool. I've never seen that before. And so that's pretty much how that came about. And then the same with like the kamikaze bats. It was basically, you know, the original idea was to be cheap. It was going to be ninjas with ray guns because we could wear ninja costumes and it could just be one person playing 100 of them. But then when I was turning it into a real movie, I was like, that's a little too silly. So then I was like, but I still love the idea of like the pink explosions and the guys running. I was like, what can we do? And then it was like, oh, bats. It could just be like dive bombing bats and then they're exploding. And so like, I think both of those ideas came out of honestly kind of just constriction because of our budget or because of our creative limitations, but it ended up making something super exciting and fun. So, I think I want to do more with the Kung Fu spirits. I think you could do a whole spin-off movie right there with that.
You could perhaps even do like a music video or something and have them do like a Michael Jackson style Thriller dance
Oh,
or
there we
something as
go.
well. Um,
Instead of dancing, they're fighting.
yeah, exactly right. Um, I love talking to filmmakers about practical effects because I just find practical effects to be, just incredibly interesting. Just not only the creation of them, but the filming of them, what they do to kind of like film sets and such. Here you have Shane Morton. He's a Silver Screen FX company. They're the ones who put together your practical stuff in here. Usually, sometimes when I talk to filmmakers, they talk about how when the actors see the sets like shot on film, they see like the practical effects happening in front of them. It brings about a certain energy to the
Mm-hmm.
set. And this shoot was like what 23 days, 19 days in the one location here where you
Mm-hmm.
did most of your stuff. So what's it like when Shane's on set and he's got all these different things going on with the werewolf and the stickman and all that stuff? What's it like in regards to the cast and crew all together, seeing this stuff kind of like come alive in front of them, as opposed to say something like visual effects shots afterwards where they don't really see what they're shooting at, but it kind of is editing in post afterwards.
Oh man, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. I mean, Michelle Lamb, for example, who plays Annette, was actually genuinely terrified of the werewolf mask.
Hmm.
Like for some reason, it just creeped her out so much. So like, her reactions are all real in the movie because she could barely be close to it, which was super funny. But I mean, when a big old werewolf jumps off a 15-foot ledge and lands on the ground, and everybody sees that in real life. Like, I mean, that, you get excited and everybody's like, oh, this is cool, and the nice thing is when it's there in camera, everyone knows that like you're getting it, and the actors, they have something to respond to, they have something to play off of. So I'm always pro for more, the more stuff you get at camera, the better. I mean, because definitely like at the end of the movie, not to spoil too much, but when the two characters are running and the bats are dive bombing all around them, we of course didn't have any real bats. So that's just lights going off. And when you're filming that, it feels a whole lot sillier. I
Hmm.
mean, it's very silly in the movie, anyways, but it feels really silly because they're just screaming and lights are going off and that's it. Versus when you have a practical werewolf, on set, or you have the guys in zombie makeup, or you have the legit air cannons going off and exploding, and things flying around the set like that. All the reactions are way more they're just real, and everybody is more into it just because it's there. And also it helps to keep people on the same page because then they don't have to get inside your imagination because they can just see it.
The practical stuff is really interesting because I have my older son, Michael. He's 13, turning 14. He's a budding filmmaker. He likes doing stop motion. He
Oh,
loves
cool.
kaiju movies, Godzilla, but he likes the old school Japanese ones. Like he's watched all of them. He loves all of that stuff, and that's why he does stop motion. He makes his own Godzilla movies and all. He likes the practical
Oh,
stuff.
cool.
And I do have, or sometimes I ask filmmakers about where did the origins for their love come from? So for yourself, when it comes to monster movies, creature feature filmmaking, do you remember the films that really kind of like spoke to you when you were younger? Because I read somewhere that what you used to do first is kind of like more art stuff, cartoons, comic books and stuff like that. Then
Hmm.
later on came kind of like movies. So what were the kind of movies or characters that really kind of made you sit up and kind of like, oh man, this monster stuff is like really cool. I want to get into that.
Trying to think specifically monster wise. I mean, this is going to be a weird answer, but it's probably the honest answer. For me, the big introduction to probably creatures on screen would actually be things like Lord of the Rings.
Hmm.
and Harry Potter. And I know you don't think of those as monster movies, but there's so many cool creatures in those movies, like both of
Yeah.
them. So big fantasy stuff. I think fantasy and supernatural things. Um, I'm trying to think if there's something specific, um, monster wise. I don't know.
I mean,
I always lean in towards fantasy. Like I
right.
just love fantasy, and by fantasy I mean fantastical. So like anything with creatures and monsters and magic and supernatural and stuff like that. So I think that just lends itself well to making a creature feature. I do love Tremors, if that helps.
Tremors is fantastic. I mean,
Tremors is fantastic.
it's fantastic. I mean, to and fro, and as to when I can show him my son that one, I think I might wait a little bit longer for that one before it comes out. But I do show him little bits and pieces from movies, not the whole movies, but like, oh, you gotta check this out, you gotta check that out. And Tremors, I think, is what he'll definitely enjoy. I think. Yeah.
Oh heck yeah! Oh, he'll love it, man. It's so good. 15 when he's 15.
15. The Matt's Movie Reviews podcast is brought to you by Amazon Prime Video. One of the best on-demand streaming services available, Amazon Prime Video features exclusive Amazon originals as well as popular movies and TV shows. Watch Amazon Prime Video anytime, anywhere. Another thing I like to talk to the horror filmmakers about is working with, blood or whatever blood is on set and using it on set and such. And I've talked to so many different actors from like small films to like big Evil Dead style films, and they talk about blood, and it all comes down to the same stuff. It's sticky, it stays on you, it's crude. I mean, I imagine Chris in this movie, considering he's the one that gets a brunt of a lot of this kind of blood work in this movie, would have had very long kind of showers and a lot of like makeup remover and stuff like that applied to him afterwards. What's it like using that stuff on set? Is it as messy as I've been told from other people as well? Or is it really kind of fun to kind of like, just blast Chris in the face with a whole capsule full of blood like he gets in the movie?
It is both. It's like, it is very messy and it's very sticky. And when I showed the script to one of my friends before we were shooting it, he looked at me and he was like, "I do not envy your lead actor." He's like, "I don't want to
Mm,
be covered in blood for 20 days or whatever." Yeah, Chris did. I think it was 19 days with blood all over him, which is
right.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it's really fun on set. Like the blood squibs are so fun, and spraying people in the face is always funny. And just watching their reactions and making sure it doesn't get in their eyes. But it's fun. It's a good time. But it was really funny because we were shooting in an actual HOA clubhouse, and so it's a 2-story clubhouse, and the bottom was the gym, and the gym was open, but the gym also had the showers. So every day after we'd finish shooting for the day, Chris, covered in blood, would walk downstairs to the gym and go to the showers. There's a couple of times where people were down there working out,
Mm,
and he would
hmm.
just bust up in there covered in blood, and they wouldn't know the movie was happening, and they'd just be like, "What's happening?" And he's like, "Oh, sorry, we're filming a movie upstairs. I'm just gonna go use your shower real quick." But no, he was a trooper. I mean, he never complained about it once. But I mean, if you watch, I mean, if you look at the movie, it like hardens and it gets sticky, and like you can see like at certain points it's like peeling off his face, and we'd have to go in to reapply it. It got to the point where honestly it was weird to see him without makeup, like blood all over his face, because I was so used to it that I was like, oh yeah, it's weird to see your clean face. But no, man, it's great. Working with blood is fun. It's always fun to splatter people. And 9 times out of 10, what tends to be the best is to literally just throw it at their face, like with a bucket. Like you think you need a crazy cannon, and what tends to be the best is just.
It's simple but efficient, right?
It's simple but efficient.
You were an editor of these projects as well. Editing is something that you've been doing for a really long time. What's your approach to editing, like a movie, kind of like Hold the Fort? Because the edits in this film is really snappy. You see, like I can see for myself. Correct me if I'm wrong. Influences from like Raimi's Evil Dead movies and such. Maybe influences even from something like I don't know, Guy Ritchie style movies where it's kind of like very kind of really fast cuts and such like that. When you're doing stuff in posts, do you know beforehand what type of style of edit you want to do? Does it come to life afterwards? How do you kind of approach that, your philosophies in regards to editing?
I typically have a pretty good idea of what the movie should feel like pacing wise. And honestly, when I'm writing, I typically write it into the script. Like,
Hmm.
my producer, when he read the script for the first time, he was like, "Oh man, it's amazing! I can like see your edit." Because it'll just be like person finishes talking, splat, like, and then something else happened. And like, so I kind of work it into the edit. So I see it visually in my head usually. But as with most things, once you get in the editing room, you just have to be willing to kind of do whatever you got with the footage. And so some of those things change, and then you're messing around trying to figure it out. But I have a pretty good idea of how the pacing should go, especially like the delivery of the dialogue and stuff, and how fast we're cutting around. And if it's a montage, I've usually kind of like written it out in terms of our shot list, exactly which parts we need and how fast, which ones we're going to snap zoom in on, and fun stuff like that. So yes, I definitely think about the edit the whole time from the beginning.
Another thing that I like to talk to filmmakers about is what's the feelings like when the movie goes out there in the world, whether it be festival screenings or the VOD release that we have right now. Some filmmakers I talk to say that they still like, oh, I wish I could have done another cut or another shot or whatever have you. Other ones are just like, I'm ready to let it go, like letting my kids go to college, it's time for them to grow up. What's your kind of approach to that?
Oh man, well, there's nothing more exciting than a really good screening. So like sitting in a packed theater with a bunch of people who are having a blast, like that's just it's so fun. Because it's like kind of nerve wracking. Are they gonna laugh? Are they not? And then when like a joke lands really well, it's just like that's a 10 out of 10. So like that part of the release is incredible. Having it come out on VOD, it's also just been incredible because now people can watch it. Because I've been working on this thing for like 3 years. So it's just great to be like, go, be free, like get out there, and then seeing random people's reactions. I mean, knowing it did really well in Australia is amazing. Super, like stuff like that's just super cool. For me, with this one, I mean, every project's different. With this one, I was definitely ready to be done. I think we could have. There are things about this one that I would probably tweak a little bit given more time, but because I've been working on it for so long, and because of how small our budget was, I ended up doing a lot of it myself. So by the time that it got down to a release, I was like, "Cool, I'm ready to be done. You put the movie out in the world. I'm ready for people to see it."
Well, you did fantastic job here. I like really kudos to you. And I was saying before filming the start, we began filming this that I find that horror has become just just a little too serious, a little too stiff, I think, a little too high class maybe. And it's really cool to be able to watch a horror film where I can really have fun with it. And I really recommend for everyone out there. Grab your friends together and watch these together as a group because I think horror is a real kind of communal experience. And this movie essentially is about a community in this film, and I think horror really reflects that. But this is definitely a film that I think you get your friends together, order those pizzas, get those snacks, sit down, watch this movie, and watch it together because it's a film that I think people can watch it and really laugh at it and have fun with it because it is a really fun horror comedy. I really recommend everyone check it out. Hold the fort. I'm going to have links in the show notes so you have no excuse about where to find it. And when you find it, I want you to buy it or I want you to rent it and do what I just said because this is just a really fun movie. I really, really, really enjoyed Hold the Fort. And William, thank you for the
Thank
film and
you,
thank you for your time today. Hopefully we could talk again in the future. It's been a pleasure.
thank you, man. I couldn't have said it better myself. I appreciate it.
Thank you for watching the Matt's Movie Reviews channel. Please subscribe for more reviews, podcast interviews, and exclusive content.